Hey, what's up everyone, Johnny the Geek here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to generate a QR code and also customizing it for a specific purpose. So what I have here is one that I've made and I've applied a specific color to it, as well as added a text box with some words, the school logo, or it's not actually the school logo, but just some words to indicate what this is exactly, what you're scanning. But anyways, pay no attention to this gray in the background. It's because it's a PNG and it has transparency to it, so you're just seeing nothing, so that whatever it is I put this on, the background color will show through. Typically, you kind of want the background to be brighter so it contrasts against the actual color, the bits of code here, right? So, and I'll explain a little bit more about how this is able to still work, even though there's a big old text box in the middle of it. Alright, so that's just an example of what I'll be creating today. So that specific QR code actually led to this link right here, and basically when you scan it with your phone, it'll download this PDF, which is a schedule of classes or the catalog. It'll download the PDF file to your phone, or you'll be able to view it using the iPhone or Android or whatever smartphone, preferably a smartphone, essentially. Right, so this is the link right here, and what we're going to have to do first start off is copy the link. So if you right click and you hit copy link address, it saves it, right? And the next thing we're going to do, actually, and you don't have to necessarily do this, but I'll explain why it's good to do this. Basically, this is a bit.ly or bit.ly.com, and what this does is that it shortens links for you. So this really extremely long link here shortened it down, right? The length of your URL or text or characters is going to determine what your pattern is going to look like, right? You can go further to even customize this URL, in that if you create an account with this website, what you can do is hit customize here, and then you can call it bit.ly/ and I'll say LAMC schedule. Yeah, so this is going to be the link, right? So now I'm bit.ly/ LAMC schedule. So created that, copied it to my clipboard again. Now I'm at this website, and this is where we're going to actually generate the QR code. So the actual benefit really is that by using this site, you can track how many times this particular link gets clicked on, or in our case, is going to be scanned. Right? So every time somebody scans this QR code, it's going to go through this link, and then this website is going to keep track of how many times someone has accessed this link, or how many times the QR code has been scanned, essentially, right? All right, so that's that. Now we're at the deliver.com/QR code generator. Delivered spelled DELIVR.com. Right, and so we have many different services that we can, or code types that we can generate, and we're going to be using URL. So now you're going to copy, or you're going to paste that link that we're going to generate a QR code. So there's a couple of factors in determining what your code's going to look like in terms of the bits and pieces of code that's in there, how much little blots there are, right? One is the length of the URL, right? So the more characters, the more letters is in the URL or in the code, the more of these little blots that you're going to get, right? And then the other thing is the error correction. When you have a low error correction, there's going to be less of these little blots, but that just means that your phone is going to have to scan the whole thing, and it's going to have to scan it perfectly, with no fuzziness or no errors or anything like that, very little errors. But since we're adding this block of letters in our QR code, it's basically we're creating an error. We're purposely creating an error, right? So there's a percentage, amount of percentage. So if I had it at 7%, this is more than 7% error right here. So I'm going to choose the maximum 30% of error, right? and it's going to create more of those blocks, little codes, right? And then in terms of the margin, this is just the amount of space around the actual box. You can, it's whatever your preference is. I like to go with fewer, right? And then scale, I think this is the size of it, how big you want it, right? And then the color code, you can specify what color you want your actual QR code to be. And to do that, what I ended up doing was I went to the website because I wanted to match this website, and I kind of took a picture of it, or took a little slice of this, right? Opened it up in Photoshop here, right? So here it is, and then took a color picker, right? So you see what I did there? Took the color picker here, chose that, and it ended up here in my swatches, or my color picker. So this is the code right here that it generates for you. That's the color of that website. So that's how I got that color. I mean, there are other ways to do it too, but that's how I chose to do it. Right? So I copied that code and I paste it, and so now I'm ready to generate my QR code. Alright, so here's my QR code that I generated. Now I'm going to go ahead and download the PNG. Right, now I'll go ahead and open this in Photoshop, and there we go. There is my QR code. Alright, so here is my QR code that I generated, and I brought it into Photoshop. And so what I'm about to do now is get rid of the white space here, and this is typically what you would do when you want to put it on to some, maybe a web page or something, or some type of graphic, and you want the background to show. But just remember that the background has got to be a contrast to what your color is. So if your color is, you know, a darker color, then it should be the opposite, a really bright color, so that the phone or barcode scanner can really pick it up real well. Right, so we're in Photoshop here, and I'm unlock the layer. So double click on the little lock. Which, by the way, I gotta say, I am by no means a graphic designer, nor do I know how to use Photoshop. So just bear with me. There are things, that terminologies that I don't know, and yeah. So there's probably better methods of doing this. If you know, then feel free to leave a comment. All right. So I've chosen the magic wand tool here, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose, click on a white space area, and just press on delete. Didn't get everything, so what you're gonna have to actually do is go in, and I know this is kind of tedious, and there's probably a much better way. So I'm just clicking here and holding shift down, clicking on anything that's white, and it's a little tricky sometimes. There's probably some keyboard shortcut, and I'm not going to actually make you watch all this, so I'll probably cut it out. But as you're selecting through, just hold shift down, select everything. Be careful not to choose any of the blue squares, or else your QR code may not end up not working. Okay, so I've eliminated all of the white space, and so what I'm going to do now is actually draw a box right here. Then I'm going to change the color, right, and that's the code that I saved from earlier. So there's my box, and so essentially what you're going to want to do now is break out your phone, start up the barcode scanner app, and you're going to scan your screen because you want to see how much of this is working. So if it's not scanning, then you've blocked out too much. So I gotta use a transform here, and I'm gonna go ahead and shrink this down. Alright, so once you've entered your text and you got everything lined up as you would like it, Scan it one more time just to make sure it works. Okay, and go ahead and save it. And we can actually change the size. Change it to 512 by 512. It's a good size. Right, and there we have our QR code, custom QR code. Hope this works out for you. Thanks for watching. Johnny the Geek out. Peace.